Welcome to the Artist Academy podcast, a place where we focus on the business side of art to help you attract more customers, to increase your profits, to ultimately live a life of creativity and financial freedom. I'm your host, Andrea Earhart. And this week's episode, we're going to be talking about community versus competition. And also I'm going to be sharing with you, we have an upcoming Mural meetup, which is an event that I put on every year to where we go to this fun travel location and I teach people how to use spray paint and latex paint. We paint a mural together and we do fun excursions, and it's going to be in Costa Rica this year on January 26th through 31st of 2026. And it's going to be the only mural meetup of 2026. So I'm going to be sharing with you the details of that. So stick around for about 15 minutes while I go over this first subject of community versus competition, which is so important. And let's get to it. So first off, I do not want to come at you today and say things like, you should just love your neighbor and just forget about it. There are other opportunities out there for you. It's no big deal. Like, it's real. The feeling that you get when another artist lands something that you really wanted, or even something that you put any kind of effort towards. Like you had a conversation with the person hiring you and you thought it was going well. And maybe you even accidentally did a mock-up for them without getting a deposit. That's happened to me. Maybe you put a little bit into this, or maybe hardly at all, but you just wanted this project and then the customer ghosts you, or they tell you they're going somewhere else with it, or they tell you, hey, okay, thanks so much for all you did. We're actually going to price shop around. Great. It doesn't feel good. It's really easy for me now to sit here and be like, there are other opportunities out there. It's no big deal, which, spoiler, it's not that as much of a big a deal now for me that I have a reputation. I have other things coming on. I have other things going on. But in the beginning of your art career, in those first couple years, and even in the middle, right? When you really want something, this, you do a really good job, you're invested in it. You spent any amount of time in even thinking about how you would fulfill this project, and you get ghosted, or they choose somebody else. It sucks. It just does. It's not fun. So I'm going to be sharing with you today a couple of the instances where things like this has happened to me and how I help reframe my mind around it after that initial sting, because having that initial sting means you're human, right? None of us don't get a job or lose an opportunity or something and we're like, oh, okay, it's still an amazing day, 10 out of 10. It's oh man, wish I would have gotten that, whatever. So I'm going to share with you some of the times it's happened to me, just to know that if you're in this industry for any amount of time at all, it's going to happen to you. And there's so many positives of this painting industry. We get to be creatives and get paid to do what we love. And but there's some downsides, and it's not being busy or somebody else getting what you want or things like that. Okay. So I made a list of different ones to talk about. So I'm going to check out my list. Let's go with a couple from just this year. So it happens all the time, right? So I want to share one so at the beginning of this year, I was decently busy. So it wasn't that big of a deal to me. But if I wasn't busy, it would have. There's a difference. If your schedule is not lined up with things, then losing one or two things is a really big deal. If you are, you're busy, it's just not that big of a deal. So I guess the lesson learned in that before I even start here is just throw out a lot of lines, right? Or whatever. I feel like that's some kind of fishing reference. That's very country. Does anybody else do stuff like that? I don't know. But throw out a lot of lures or whatever. And you're going to get a lot of rejections and other people are going to beat you out for things, but you're going to have a lot of things planned there. So beginning of this year, I had a customer reach out and they said that they wanted this thing painted. They had the design already. I was like, perfect. And so I gave them a rate, and it's it was going to be about $5,000 for this, for the thing that you wanted. Or if you want it to be a little bit more simplified, because I could kind of tell that they were budget friendly. You could just kind of tell in the initial conversation. I was like, okay, well, if you want it a little bit simplified, then I could do it 4,000 and I could just, take out a couple colors and, not make it so detailed detailed in this area. I was like, hey, I could stop by. I'm in the area anyway. Tomorrow and the next day, I'll just stop by and I'll check out the wall. They said, no, thanks. We're actually going to get some quotes and we'll get back to you. And I was like, great. Because, I know that I have trained some muralists in the area, some extensively and some just a little bit, and some even not at all. Like there are other muralists in the area, but I have kicked myself in the butt because I have trained many of them in some ways, and they know all my tactics and they know what to do, and good for them, right? And so every time somebody says, hey, I'm going to price shop around, I pretty much know I'm not going to get it because I know that there are artists out there who are more beginners who are not going to charge what I think it's worth. And everybody has their own what it's worth in their mind, right? And I try to preach around here, charge what it's worth. Don't just lend to all the budget friendly people. Anyway, I didn't hear back. And then probably about 2 months later, I saw online another artist who I had trained extensively was painting that. And I was like, okay, that's fine. There's a little bit that's I kind of wanted that. That would have been nice. Hey, if I wasn't training artists, that artist probably wouldn't even have been doing the thing that they're doing. But I did. And, I've gotten other good karma. I've gotten paid. I've gotten, other things from being able to have done this. So I can't really be too down about it. You know what I mean? But there's just a little bit okay. So how I reframe my mind is, and it's easy for me to do this at this level, right? It's okay, well, I have quality. If somebody wants the top quality, somebody that can get it done really quickly and have the perfect straight lines and all the things, they're going to pay for it. The next customer that comes along is going to want higher quality. They're going to want somebody that's been around doing it for a long time, and they'll see that and hire me. And that's in general how I think. But how you could also reframe your mind around this would be, how can I stand out amongst a crowd? And a way you could do that would be to niche down. A way you could do that would be to up your quality, up your videos, up your exposure, show up way more than anybody else. Because I also know there are artists in this area that I have not trained, okay, that have kind of helped me in a way, and they don't do any marketing. And I know they're out there, but nobody else does. Or maybe a small amount of people do. But a lot of the businesses around town who I am friends with on LinkedIn or have some connection to because I do live paintings at business events, or I am out there. And because of my marketing efforts, they see me. They don't see the ones who are older than me who have a really, really good quality. I'm pretty good, but they're just people who have been doing it for a really, really, really long time. They have that extra edge of experience, and it's just that much better. Okay. It's real. That's a thing. And you can just admit that. I'm not that prideful to be able to be I'm the best artist in the area. I know, but I am good at marketing, and I am good at giving a fuck, and I am good at trying real hard to get my art in front of the people. And I like to make videos and all the things. So I'm using my strengths, and it's kept me busy. So you could think of it in that way. What are your strengths that could get the attention of these people so that you're not fighting for whoever has the lowest budget or whoever has the lowest price? Because what we don't want to do is lower our price because we know that there are other people out there charging less. I'm going to repeat that. Do not lower your price because you know that there are people out there charging $10 a square foot when you know it should be $25. Don't do that because it doesn't help anybody. Stick to your prices. Focus on some other area. Maybe it's your marketing efforts. Maybe it's making the really high quality. Maybe it's not relying on Thumbtack as much, or places to where people are going to price shop like that. Thumbtack is great. I will stand behind that, but I do not get every job there. If somebody's just price shopping, I'm not going to get it. But if somebody sees my work, likes what I do, Thumbtack puts me in front of them and they contact me. And I've gotten big jobs with thousands of dollars through that. But if you're constantly getting outbid on that, maybe let's focus somewhere else. Maybe let's start posting in the local Facebook groups. Maybe let's just be seen. Or maybe you'd be hired by so many people. So before I tell this other story, I just want to also say that I'm mostly talking to artists who are in that middle range and higher. Middle meaning you're not in your first year. I will never knock an artist who is in your first year who's just trying to get experience. Like, you're wanting to get out there. You don't really know how much to charge. So you're trying this and it's taking you way longer. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm under. Like, I'm not talking to you when I'm like downing people for reducing their price. You do what you got to do. You get stuff on your portfolio, you get practice, you get really good, and just do that. Like, there's always room to charge a little bit more. And there's tactics with that, like giving them a price range or saying, it's going to be between this and this. Like, this is, and giving them different options is a really good way to increase it. Having conversations on the phone, things like that. But if you're in your first year, this doesn't really apply to you. Just like get it done, build your portfolio, get paid a little bit, and then go on, because that first year is really tough. I recognize that. But okay, another story. I probably told this one before because it happened a really long time ago, but I actually introduced an artist to a friend of a friend. So I made this introduction, and then that friend of a friend hired that artist to paint like a set of wings for them. This was like way early when I was first starting to paint wings, and I had painted wings around, and like now it's overdone. I realize that, but I had painted the first set of wings here in my area when it was like the big Instagrammable thing. And I painted so many for free and so many low cost ones at the zoo that I was finally getting paid for them because people were noticing them. And I had a friend of a friend like see that and then ask this artist that I had introduced to, like, they knew who I was and they asked this other artist for whatever reason, right? And I was like, wait, like, the only reason you're asking for this wing stuff is because I've put it everywhere. I've put it all on, like, I've put in the hard work, like that first year hard work of like doing stuff for free, building the portfolio. Like, that's what I did with this. And you're asking somebody else to do it like in a different, slightly different style. Like, what? I just remember being like, what's going on? And like at that time, I didn't have a line out the door of people who wanted to work with me. I didn't have, and so the feelings were very real. So I talked to the artist about it. I was like, hey, like this, like kind of a thing. And they're like, well, I need the money. And I was like, okay, well, because in my perspective, I had all these feelings, but in their perspective, they didn't see it like that. It was just a business transaction. So can I fault them for that? Like, can you really? Not really. That customer wanted to hire an artist. They chose. I have my assumptions of why they chose that artist, but are they real? No, feelings aren't facts. And it was just a weird, like, and then we moved on. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to focus on this new project now. And it was just a thing. But I remember that feeling so much of being like, I feel like I should have gotten that, but maybe, like, but I don't know. Maybe you're listening and you're like, no, that's totally off. It doesn't matter. But those are the feelings that I had. I'm going to bet you're going to be in a similar situation where somebody sees something that you did and they ask another artist to do it. And you're like, what? Like, or you create a design and then they ask another artist to make a similar design because they're cheaper. It's like you're like, that's not fair, but it's not illegal either. So what can you do? Oh, here's another one. This year, I've started to really apply to RFQs, RFPs, things like that. And there was this one RFQ. So I didn't send in a proposal or anything. I just sent in qualifications. I think it was for a $40,000 mural on the side of a parking garage. And for some reason, I remember it, maybe because it was one of the first ones that I had put everything together. I spent a lot of time on the content. You write out a letter of intention, things like that. Like, it takes some time to do this. Usually, I've got it down to where I can probably apply for one now using stuff that I've set up already in about 2 hours. But in the beginning, it took like 5 hours to apply to some of these things. I wanted to make it perfect. And I just did, you just like nitpick the whole thing and you really look at the area and you really think about what you would do and like all the things, right? Some time is invested in some of these. And I applied. I didn't get it. No big deal because I've applied to like 10 or 15 of these this year. I've successfully gotten 2 of them. Not bad. I've applied to another one. I hear back from it next week and I have high hopes for that one. But this one that I applied for on this parking garage, it was out of state. I've learned recently, so tip, if you're in the newer stages, especially if you want to apply for something, I now apply for things in like my area for sure. I don't apply to things in New York. I don't apply because there's so many really big artists applying for those things. You really need to be like the top 5% of muralists. in the United States to apply for something like that. So I pretty much stick to the regional stuff. If there's something that's perfect for me, I'll apply for it outside of my area. But in general, if it's in Missouri, 100% applying for it, putting my best foot forward with that. But this one, it was before I had kind of learned that for myself of how to do this, and I didn't get it. And then recently, in the last couple weeks, I saw a video that was shared by some person, and it was the mural that was on the side of that parking garage. And I remember it because in the RFQ, it had a photo of the parking garage exactly. And the mural was up there, and I was like, oh my gosh, what they did with that was so much better than I could have done. It was so good. I don't know if you've seen it. Just to throw it out there, it was like a really big rectangular surface on the side of a parking garage. It was just a big blank eyesore. And they turned it into what looked like a gumball machine. So it looked like there was all these maybe marbles or gumballs, something like that inside of it. And it just looked like a big marble gumball machine, toy machine or something. And I was like, well done. In instances like that, I'm like, okay, maybe I wasn't the best. Maybe because they chose somebody else who had something that would better fit that area. And I just applaud them. I would say there was a 1% oh man, I wish I would have got that. And 99% was just all right, yeah, okay. So what I gather from that is I just need to be better. I need to get to that level of quality and have that solid of a portfolio to where if somebody looks at it and they're like, oh yeah, I could see this in this space. That just shows me what I need to do in the future. And that was a learning moment in that. And it's a bit different, right? I just wanted to share that because really there's not a whole lot of jealousy or a whole lot of any negative feelings in that. It's more of a realization of okay, I just need to up my game. And that, which is totally possible, right? I guarantee that artist has spent way more time painting in that certain style and is known for that certain style and did a banging job than I have in my whatever style that I have that I keep going back and forth and can't niche down. And I'm working on it, but it's a work in progress. But yeah, I just think in general, in sharing these, I really like to promote community over competition, especially in my area, because I've had artists reach out to me and say, hey, I bid on this. They ghosted me. I actually created a proposal for them and everything. Have you heard from them? And I was like, no, but if I do, I'll send them your way. Things like that. And I've had an artist do that for me. I was painting for a customer and my schedule was super busy. I could barely fit them in. And then they needed something else painted and they didn't even ask me. They asked another artist in my area who saw that I was painting for that company and said, hey, I noticed that company reached out to you or reached out to me. I noticed you've been painting for them. Did you have a bad experience or what? And I was like, oh, no, I wonder. So I messaged the company hey, my artist friend said that you wanted this painted. So was there an issue, the painting that I just made for you? And they're like, oh my gosh, we're so sorry. No, we just thought you were too busy. And that sentence, that we just thought you were too busy, has lost me more jobs than most, mostly smaller jobs, right? The big jobs will wait. But in my area, I have heard we don't want to pay a ton and we don't want to wait forever. And I'm like, wait, for some reason, my marketing says that I'm super busy and I'm super expensive, which is okay. It's not the worst thing, but that's it's a different side of the coin. I don't know. I just wanted to share that. But in general, I would love if we could all just reach out to each other and really be open about if somebody reaches out to you in your area, just be able to stand firm in your own product and the reputation that you've built and not think of other artists as big detrimental competitions, right? Yeah, they might take a couple jobs from you. It's happened to me, but I'm alive. It's okay. And mostly the jobs that they take from me are smaller jobs that I'm not in love with. That would be nice to have, but I'm not crying at night over it. I'm not losing any sleep over it. It's just usually they're $500, $1,000 jobs, $1,500, something like that. But I just wanted to speak on the idea that it is so normal to be man, that sucks. but also just move on from it and just ask yourself questions of what I like to do actually in instances like this. It's like, okay, well, I've trained people to do what I do, so they're going to take similar jobs. How can I evolve? How can I love what I do even more? And like I said, a lot of times that's niching down. Maybe it's trying something new. I've tried plaster murals. I've tried things with just different materials, using gold metallics, use like something that up levels, or maybe going slightly left and going into faux finishing. You know, there's hardly anybody doing that in my area. Maybe going into like portraiture work or whatever, like some kind of specialty. I think that's the best way to stand out, but really figuring out like, what do I want to do? I've been doing this for a while. What's old about it? What could I incorporate that would make it even more fun? What's a subject that I love? What's something that will get the attention of people online even more? And just having those like real questions answered within yourself. And because I'm just sharing what I do. This is very real. This is exactly what I do. And thinking, you know, how can I either be better or be slightly different? Or how am I already different? Like, what about me stands out from everybody else? And how can I accentuate that and have fun with it at the same time? Like I say, I like to do video. I could double down on video. Not a lot of artists like to do that, which really baffled me at first because I like to do it so much. I remember when somebody asked me to do like a video tutorial, I was like, why? This is so fun and easy. What do you mean? What do you mean you want me to teach you how to do this? People are like, no, like I really don't get it. Can you show me? I'm like, oh, so what is the thing that to you, you're like, this is so fun and easy. This is the easiest thing in this certain category. Do that. And then expand on that and get even better on that. But yeah, community over competition. So I'm going to continue to teach other muralists in my area, outside of my area, all of the things, which I thought it would be a good time to tell you about our upcoming mural meetup in Costa Rica, January 2026. It is January 26th through the 31st. I'm going to list a bunch of info here in the caption, but also the link to go see a video. I'm going to tell you all about it on this page where I have a video. You can see the villa. You can see all the things that we're planning on doing. If you are at all interested, go there. I just want to tell you a little bit about it here before we end the episode. But I am so excited. Last year, we went to Costa Rica in early January. It was one of the first travel meetups that we did of 2025, this current year. And it went so well. And I'm not just saying that to try to be like, yeah, come in, it's going to go so well. Like there were definitely little hiccups there and there, but I'm so excited. Like, for instance, our paint, I shipped it 2 weeks early from a local Costa Rican art place, and it didn't make it there. So as soon as I got there, I had to go find it. And it was an adventure. But overall, the mural went really well. Our host loved it. The villas we stayed at were amazing. The excursions that we went on were really cool. And I left that meetup thinking, I want to come to Costa Rica once a year. Like, this place is so cool. We go in the middle of the jungle in the Costa Rica, so it's not around any of the touristy areas, which is really where I love to go. We stay literally in the jungle, and it gave me like a Southeast Asia feel, which is the feel that I get when you're really out there and there's not a whole lot of like formalcy. It's like you're on an adventure, and that's my favorite. Last year I brought my husband and my toddler. This year I am not. This year I am going solo and having the whole week there with all the artists that are going. I'm so excited. So on October 1st, booking opens. You can book your spot for the Costa Rica meetup. It opens to Artist Academy members only for the first week, and then the second week of October, it opens up to everybody else. And you can go to the link here to see all of the details. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit more about it. So we are going to be painting 3 murals, 1 exterior, 2 interior. So you get a feel of, we're going to do spray paints, mostly the Montana 94 cans, and I'll show you the different tips. I'll show you the different techniques that I've used. I've really dove into it this last year. I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I am very well equipped and to teach beginner and or intermediate. just blending, how to get a straight line, how to do all the things. I've really learned a lot, and I am very confident to teach you and to show you the different ways of just using spray paint to paint faster. And it's just a different beast. It's so much fun, but it's just different. And so just to explain it to you in person, we're going to be painting really big leaves on the side of a building. A building. And then the other 2 murals are going to be inside. We're going to be using interior latex for them. And we're going to be doing really big, lush greenery. So Costa Rican jungle scene, a full wall, full scene of, so if you're ever interested in how to paint a landscape, come, I will show you. And we're going to be doing flowers, so local flowers and local pollinators, so hummingbirds and butterflies. I'll be doing one demonstration of each big leaf, some landscape scene, some of the pollinators, and then I'll do one demonstration where you're there, you can ask questions, you can see the way I do it, the way I hold my brush, which tools I use, how I blend the colors, how I layer it, everything, and how I do it quickly. I think that's one of my superpowers anyway. It's just being able to look at something, paint the base coat, pop on some highlights, and when you step back, it looks like the thing. Instead of spending hours and hours and hours like you would on a canvas painting, it's very different. Canvas painting and mural painting are very, very different. And I think I've finally mastered how to gain speed with mural painting and what to focus on, and then what just to let go. What to let go and just say, you know what, that looks really good. We're moving on to the next. Let's make some details and make some really highlight points that has a wow factor and has a jump off the wall. We can add shadows. We can add all the things. I'm so excited. I'm also really excited that I'm only doing one mural meetup in 2026, because that way I can just focus on this one and making it the very best experience. I've already done the mock-ups for it. So if you would like to see exactly what we're painting, you can see the mock-ups on this link below. It's actually artistacademy.co/meetup. So artistacademy.co/meetup. And you can go see photos, videos, everything explaining it. So I am so excited. We're going to be having another artist come and she's going to be teaching yoga. So we have this beautiful deck out on the villa that overlooks the lake and the jungle. And we're going to be doing sunrise yoga there, to where we wake up our bodies, set an intention for the day. We're going to have 2 meals provided by a local Costa Rican chef. It is going to be great. We did it right last time. I know what to do this time to make it even better and just a little bit more, I'm going to order the paint way in advance. And last time we just did dinners by the local Costa Rican chef. Now we're going to do lunch and dinner. There's a little bit of things, but I'm so excited that we're going to a place I've already been, because some of the meetups that I schedule, I have never been to the place. You're going and hoping for the best. Most of the time it works out, but there's always some kind of travel hiccup. This time I'm so excited to know I've already gone there and to know how chill the host is and what they want and what they expect and how to set it up. And I'm excited. It's going to be fun. So if you have any questions at all, first go to that link. It's artistacademy.co/meetup and see all the info there. If you would like to bring a friend or a spouse, we have a discounted rate available for that as well. Yeah, we have about max 15 people going. So it'll be a really small, intimate group. This will sell out. I don't know how soon. I imagine it'll sell out in the first month. So if you are at all interested and you have any questions at all, please reach out as soon as possible. Again, the link goes live October 1st for Artist Academy members, and then everybody else the Monday after. Yeah. Okay. I think that's all I have for you today. I hope this community versus competition thing landed, and then we can all just make a little bit of a stride in the direction of community rather than competition. And even though it sucks to lose a job, we can all just agree that, but we can all just help each other out. And if you're interested in doing some travel murals in 2026, I would love for you to join us. All right. I will see you next week. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Artist Academy podcast.